Lucas here again, and in this video I want to feature two things. One is my wonderful buddy Eddie over here, and the other is a little surprise that he has. So Eddie, how's it going, buddy?
Man, it's going good, man.
How's your day been, man?
You know, for it being a Wednesday, this is like my Friday before going into the weekend.
Yeah.
Because Christmas is 2 days away. It's going to be a nice day.
Yeah. So, man, how long you been playing music?
See, back in the days of the Vietnam War. No, but with all realistic speaking, I can't give you an exact day because it's been so many years ago since I started playing music. I remember when I was 4 years old.
Really?
My mom took me to Tennessee Tech University in Cookeville, Tennessee, to learn how to play piano. Let's just say that was a disaster. Not like I wasn't interested in learning, it's just when you're 4 years old, it's hard to really comprehend on learning an instrument.
Well, man, when I was 4 years, first off, I don't remember being four. I think when I was four, went to the Lion King, and that was my earliest memory. So that might be the only thing I remember. But at four, I was not. I just wanted to play with toys and watch the Lion King.
Oh, exactly. I'm not saying like I wasn't like one of those kind of kids as well, but it's just my mom wanted to be more, let's just say, useful with my hands.
Yes.
So, to that extent, I commend her, and I still carry my first piano that I ever had. It's really my first ever instrument that I ever had. Is a Casio keyboard.
Oh, really?
So, with that being said and everything, over time, like, I really picked up rhythm. I started playing drums. And before playing guitar, because I found a picture of it the other day, and it's a picture of me at my church's, I guess it was like a picnic. And they had a drum set wide open, and there was a band playing. So, my little 6-year-old boy just went out there and decided to play on the drums, and the best of it is that it did not go bad. The fact that I picked up the rhythm alright, I guess it was a symbol of saying, hey, I should be playing music. But never really, like, fulfilled that until the day, it was my birthday. I can't remember how old I was turning, but my mom got me a guitar for my birthday.
Oh.
It was the old Squire starter pack where they had the Stratocaster in it.
Yes.
The colors of it was black, red, and blue. And she picked out the red one for me, and I like bright colors.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to my next question. What's your favorite thing to eat?
Anything where I don't have to question the food at all. Because where I come from Mexico. If y'all did not know this, all right? I don't look Hispanic, but trust me, I'm Hispanic as hell on the inside.
You would have fooled me, man. Like, other than like the name, but like I would have never guessed that you were from Mexico.
Because from Mexico, I carry a lot of traditions over. Like, I enjoy eating Mexican food. I love tacos, but I don't like going to Taco Bell. I hate Taco Bell. So
you heard it, folks, right there.
It's not real Mexican food. I'm sorry. The fact that I'm watching y'all complain makes me laugh and live every day.
I'm still mad at Taco Bell just because they got rid of the potatoes. Like, since they got rid of their potatoes, like, I will not go back to Taco Bell.
Well, I haven't been back in a long time, so I don't have to worry about
that.
that.
So you still ain't missing anything.
No, but there's a couple of good Mexican shops in my hometown, our hometown really, where I go and eat the food, and like I said, I don't question the meat because I know it tastes good.
Well, talking about that, if someone were to visit Cookeville, Tennessee, where we live here, what Mexican restaurant would you recommend?
The easiest one to get to would be right off the interstate on Jefferson, like what used to be a Waffle House. It's right behind the Exxon gas station. It's called La Muleta.
See, I've not heard of this one.
There you go. It's now on your bucket list. And, like, it's truly authentic. Like, they have the original Waffle House setup in there, so that means you can still watch them cook the food right in front of you.
Oh gosh, that's so cool,
and they got like the Mexican drinks, like agua horchata, a bunch of other flavors.
Now, what is that?
It's kind of like a rice water almost.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that don't like it, but there's a lot of people that like myself that do like it because it has a unique flavor. You put a little bit of cinnamon in that thing.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, I haven't experimented with this yet, but if you put a little bit of rum in there, it may actually be alright.
Ooh, for those who imbibe, that actually does sound pretty nice. How many guitars do you have, Eddie?
Okay, so...
Like, I'm looking around, I see quite a few, like, sitting around.
Yeah.
fact, you know, if you start mentioning one, I'll go get one out of shot and kind of we can you know, show it off just, you know, a little bit.
Well, let's go ahead and start with my first one. It's a Red Stratocaster. That was the first one I ever owned. That was the one that I still use on a daily basis. I love this thing. Because, first off, it's a Strat. There's people that love Strats, there's people that hate them.
I love Strats.
Well, I'm here to disappoint you. I actually hate Strats. I like the body of them,
No.
but there's just something weird about the Stratocaster I've just never been a fan of.
And that's, you know, to each their own, but...
Exactly,
yeah.
But this one, I kept it stock, and there's nothing truly unique other than it's my first guitar.
I love that color, though.
And I'll tell you right now, like, I say I hate the Strat because it's like not my kind of tone. I'm also lying at the same time. I love a tone of a Strat too because, like, if I'm playing like a jazz or like, definitely a Texas style blues. That's my first guitar I pick up without a question.
I was about to say, for Texas blues, you will not do better than
I would be doing
Strat.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimmy Vaughan. A lot of those guys disappoint me if I did not play that.
Let's talk about another one of your guitars, man.
Well, actually, why not? I got this one that's right next to it. It's Jack Daniel's Peavey guitar. Because you don't really see reviews of this one on YouTube at all. This one is actually a Les Paul style. I believe it's an Indonesian, or Chinese.
Chinese.
Okay, well, it's Chinese
I was
guitar.
about to say, it's very nicely made, though.
For a Chinese guitar, you know, like, people will be saying, like, okay, Chinese guitars...
Chinese guitars suck!
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not American, but you know what? Like, this one...
Bullcrap, man! Bullcrap!
I could say this guy has actually picked up this guitar and played it on a session before, and he loves this guitar. I love it because it's different. Like, it's probably the closest thing to an actual Gibson that exists. And the headstock on it, it's close to a Gibson headstock. It just has a better design where you see, like on a Gibson, it curves back out, and you have it gives the ability for the G string and the D string to get out of tune. While this one was engineered to make sure that doesn't happen. It gives less tension to those strings, causing them to go out of tune like that. And then, of course, what really sets it out as well is that you have the truss rod cover on it. That is not a plastic truss rod cover. That is a wooden, like a piece of plywood truss rod cover where Peavey is lasered into it. It looks so beautiful. And then, of course, it's a Peavey guitar, but we gotta talk about the ad that's on this guitar. I'm talking the Jack Daniels. Like, we're in Tennessee. We are proud of this thing, alright? Like, for a little county that is a dry county, this product that they have is the one thing they're absolutely proud of, and I am so happy for them. And of course, what makes this thing even unique is those humbucker pickups that are on the front. To be honest, I don't know what they really are. I think they're Peavey, they're Chinese Peavey humbuckers probably, but it could also be Japanese. But those things are really killer. They have a wonderful balance of mids, they got a little bit of bass, and a lot of treble on them. So you're looking at like a studio guitar, this is probably ideal for you.
Let's talk about one more of your guitars before we get to...
I'll let you pick on this one.
Oh, man, I've not actually seen you with this one much.
Alright, well this one is actually a special guitar for me. It's a personal guitar from my dad.
Yeah.
Back in high school, freshman year of high school, I always wanted an Ibanez guitar because growing up, I was a diehard Satriani fan. But when I was looking at my second guitar, I was wanting to get a Satriani guitar, maybe a Steve Vai because I knew who Steve Vai was. My local guitar shop, Crossroads Music, they had this on the wall. Wasn't even there for 2 days. My dad said, hey, go to your lesson, maybe we'll discuss about it. There was no discussion. He purchased it, and it was a gift for me, honestly. Now, unfortunately, with this guitar, and I will throw this out there, this is a customer advice, because this is kind of like a little bit of a guitar review as well. 90s Ibanez, they're a lot cheaper than what a lot of people would think. The wood on this one, it translates good for sound, but the durability of this wood is very questionable. Where you see the Floyd Rose on here, you can tell that there is an angle to it. I picked up another Ibanez, same year, different model, but it had the same issue where the wood actually broke on it. But that wood right there is very fragile, no matter how hard you push down on that Floyd Rose, whether you use it or like myself, I don't use a Floyd Rose at all. This is still a beautiful guitar, and this is the first Gem Junior guitar. This is the 555 Black series.
Okay.
which was a 90s guitar. They had another form of the Gem series in the early 2000s, and now we have the current Gem Junior series, where we have that white one, and then we got the yellow and the pink one. All great guitars, but this is the first one of the Gem Junior series. With these guitars are also harder to find on reverb. I will say this for myself: the pickups on this Gem Junior are better than the new Gem Juniors.
Okay.
And then on the 24th fret as well, it has his name on the guitar.
Yeah, sure it does.
That is a beautiful guitar right there.
Yes, it is. Alright, so now that we have talked about a few of Eddy's guitars, let's talk about this guitar. Dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Holy Grail of Explorers.
That is not a joke. It seriously is. This thing is gorgeous, man.
And the one thing that really makes it even more unique is that it's an 83. So back when Gibson they were doing the experimental series. They had the Flying V, they had the Modern, and then they also had the original Explorer, really an ugly style of the Explorer, and then you have this style of Explorer. So this one has the Carina wood in it. So
Okay.
it's the African limb, I believe that's the correct terminology of it. Back in '83, the Gibson decided to create the experimental series primarily through Gibson, but they also had some coming through Epiphone. Now the Epiphone ones are the more rare of the entire two.
Okay.
But I'm not sure exactly on numbers because Gibson is uptight about that one. But this one, I actually had to call a few different shops and I had to call a few different people to understand this one, because this thing, if you look at this thing, it is not your normal Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
On the back of it, if you ever seen the Ford Mustangs in the early 2000s, some of them have a Mystichrome where it will turn purple and green. And this thing is painted like that through the entirety of the guitar. It goes through the neck. It's also on the front of this body. We'll talk about this painting in a second, but if you look hard through the Starry Night, that Mystichrome still goes right through it. And then talk about the headstock. I mean, this thing is going to make it turn.
Oh man, that thing, it is so beautiful, dude. I think, to me, it's that Mystichrome, I think, is what makes it really pop.
With this guitar with the Mystichrome on it, it goes through the entire guitar. But let's go ahead and break it down even further before we get to the paint job.
Okay.
This guitar, typically Epiphone, they have a Epiphone neck, which is a D-shaped neck. It's got a little bit of a flat surface on it. This thing has a Gibson neck on it. And I can actually confirm with other luthiers, professional luthiers that I've talked with before, this is not an Epiphone neck. This is a true certified Gibson neck. It's like an SG style to it. But of course, what makes it stand out even more, you got that little Epiphone stamped right on there. I also called up the correct people to get all the information about this. With it being that Gibson neck, this does confirm this is a Nashville Epiphone Explorer. Now, to make things even more unique, there are Epiphone custom shops stickers out there that said limited edition. Now, yeah, some of those are not as special, but this one is special because this one is truly certified as a Gibson custom, or not Gibson, an Epiphone, repeat, Epiphone custom shop. Now, there's not a lot of information about the Epiphone custom shop, but from what I understand, Epiphone custom shop was in Japan, and it closed down in '85. Now, there is still like a custom shop out there, but it's not a true custom shop where it's like a limited run of guitars. But from what I understand and gather of the information from the person I talked to about this guitar, this was painted in that Epiphone custom shop in Tokyo. I think it was in Tokyo or somewhere in Japan. But it was painted in Japan. Then it was shipped back to Nashville. This is where it gets even more crazy. It was painted in Nashville, Tennessee. This entire dragon shooting out flames through the pickguard and everything else, even on these pickup covers right here. Now, there's only one thing that is actually not stock on this guitar, which is the the guitar volume knobs into tone. That was done by a music shop in New York back so many years ago. But I think they did it right because they took these tuning knobs, they painted it kind of close to the Mystic Chrome. This is a little off. But these center tops, take a gander at these things. I mean, that goes well with that flame. And then, of course, this...
You know, I did not know that. I thought those things were on that stock. Like when you brought it over to my house the first time a couple weeks ago, wow.
I wonder what this thing, the knobs were stock, but I don't care. And then talking about the hardware, I saw on the initial Reverb post like they replaced the hardware. No, this hardware is actually the original hardware. It was black. It's powder-coated black.
Okay.
What they ended up doing was, because the black actually did have some damage to it, they took it out and then repowder-coated it. And then to make it even better for hardware, those are the mini Grover tubers on the back of this thing.
Those are my favorite tuners in the world. Yeah.
On some guitars, like a regular Gibson Les Paul, I like to see those ivory Gibson tuners. Those are beautiful. Alright, now let's talk about this Dragon. Now, if you look hard at this Dragon, I'm not sure how well our photography will be, but you can take a look and you can see where whoever painted this thing took their time on painting it. Because there was an outline of it before this was painted on. And I remember at first I was like, was this a wrap? But I can concur, this was definitely not a wrap. I mean, everything about this was truly hand spray painted on there. Everything from the flames to the smoke that goes around the flames, and then that cloudy, and that moon, man, that is beautiful. But that Dragon right there, that's the one that has the most detail. Because you can see like every little dot, what really is a scale. It is a beautiful design, and you can see how the veins, oh my god, the veins that are in the wings, I just now noticed that. That is so beautiful.
Oh, wow.
And the fact that I believe those are like scales, or maybe like highlighted bones, that is beautiful. That's going through those wings. I mean...
But man, what does it sound like? Give us some tone samples. And what amp are you running through?
I am running out of a Marshall DSL 40C.
Okay.
It is a wonderful amp. This is my #1 go-to amp.
Wow, man, that thing sounds so good.
Now, the other pedals that I use to really make this sound, is a Mosky Mini Screamer, which, that was a lovely gift from you, honestly. And then the other thing that really gives it that extra distorted kick is the Electro Harmonix Nano Big Muff. And I tell you what, this thing really gives it a whole different direction of distortion.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
It's a good fuzz pedal.
Of course, when I decided not to go that direction, I got the true Marshall distortion, which I will now go into this explanation, well, letting you hear the tone of the front pickup. Because what you heard the first time around was through the back pickup.
Man, that thing sounds so good, man.
Now, the bad news, I will say, there's one information I cannot give to you yet.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of pickups these are, because I need to take them apart and look at it
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't done that yet. But this thing by itself is amazing. If you really turn up the volume on this guitar, it even has its own distortion with these pickups. That's how hot these things are.
Yeah.
It gives it that extra, I want to go out there and just rip it up on the stage, man. Rip it up on that solo. Play that riff.
You're such a cool guy, man. And I love how you explain stuff and your energy.
Well, I appreciate that. That's kind of what gives me a little bit of a unique feel to my guitar playing, because if you've not seen us play live at all, you're definitely missing out, because I'm that guy that's out there. I would be out there drinking a beer with you, sitting down, and I'm still playing guitar at the same time.
Yeah, you would be that guy. Yeah, you would be. Well, I say let's jam a little bit.
I agree. We're going to give something y'all that just that way you get a little sample.
Yeah.
Hopefully 2021 you will see us live.
I want to hear this thing, and we'll just do a little jam for you guys.
Before we do that, I like to have an interviewer review of this guitar.
Oh man. Yeah, that neck pickup sounds great. Both of them there, and the. Well, we did something. You said the paint job came from Japan, so that was cool. And
that is a paid tribute to the Japanese who did a fantastic job with this paint job. It's so beautiful.
It is, man.
Now let's do a tribute to the guitar paint job on the front.
Oh, okay. So something American.
Yeah, let's look out do something American.
Let's go to Texas.
Okay. Now, to give you one extra feature about this amazing guitar. Turns out there was one of 5 guitars. Because this was a prototype. It's a prototype guitar. So prototypes are very rare to come out of either Gibson or Epiphone factories. Now this is unconfirmed, but this is the best thing I've actually heard about it. That the initial other 4 guitars that was part of this series were destroyed by Gibson, leaving this one as the last one.
5 1/4.